Hey everybody, this is Tracy here with another edition of A View from Tracy's Point. Just when I thought I was going to take a little vacation from YouTube, it just seems that the R. Kelly saga just will not end. So today, another indictment came down against him involving the whole Aaliyah situation. So I'm just going to read this story to you guys. It says federal prosecutors in Brooklyn accused embattled R&B singer R. Kelly of bribing an Illinois official to create false identification for 15-year-old singer Aaliyah Halton on August 30th, 1994, according to the indictment and a source close to the investigation. The marriage took place the next day in relative secrecy in Cook County, Illinois, before collapsing days later and was eventually expunged after the young singer informed her parents of the union. Aaliyah died in a plane crash in 2001, which you guys already know. And R. Kelly was working with Aaliyah when she first hit the music scene, and then they parted ways later on. And so it says that earlier this year, Kelly's lawyer, Stephen Greenberg, claimed on Good Morning America that Aaliyah lied about her age at the time, unbeknown to Kelly. Quote, "My understanding is that she did not claim to be 15, and in order to get married, she had to lie about her age." End quote. The new charge was added to an existing sweeping federal racketeering indictment against Kelly, which accuses him of coercing several women, including at least two underage girls, into illegal activity. It also accuses him of kidnapping one person. Because you guys know I'm not going to use the word victim, so person. Kelly additionally faces state charges in Illinois, blah, blah, blah. Kelly's alleged decades of misconduct were the subject of the Lifetime docuseries. Then talks about Kim Fox and her public plea requesting potential witnesses to come forward. It says before then, for more than 2 decades, the recording industry turned a blind eye to Kelly's behavior as his career continued to thrive, and he was afforded every luxury of a chart-topping superstar. The Washington Post Jeff Eggers wrote last year in an expansive report on Kelly. Kelly remains in federal custody. And then there was another article. I'm going to see if it has anything additional. The New York Times. And while I'm looking for this, I just want to say that this is just an indication that they really don't have anything against him, and that they're just trying to come up with stuff to possibly force him into taking a plea deal because they really don't want to bring this to trial. So in the New York Times, it says he bribed government employee in 1994 so that he could obtain a fake ID. Basically the same thing. It says one persistent question has dogged R. Kelly's 2-decade music career. How was he able to legally marry the singer Aaliyah in 1994 when she was only 15 years old? It says on Thursday, federal prosecutors in Brooklyn accused Mr. Kelly of bribing an Illinois government employee on August 30th, 1994 in order to obtain that fake ID, according to the indictment, and a person familiar with the matter. So is this hearsay, or do they actually have the government official who allegedly was bribed? It says that the fake ID was to be used to obtain a marriage license that listed her age as 18. The person familiar says their marriage was later annulled. The new allegation expands on an existing racketeering indictment filed in New York against Mr. Kelly that accuses him of exploiting underage girls, and goes on to talk about that. This year, Mr. Kelly, 52, was criminally charged. And it says Aaliyah, whose full name was Aaliyah Dana Halton, died in a 2001 plane crash at the age of 22. She is identified in the new indictment only as Jane Doe number 1. In an interview this year with ABC's Good Morning America, Steve Greenberg, Mr. Kelly's lawyer, said his client, then goes on to say the same thing as the last article. My understanding... Oh, then it gives the quote again. I'm sorry. It says, Mr. Greenberg said on Thursday that the new indictment does not appear to materially alter the landscape. More than 2 decades ago, Vibe magazine reported that an Illinois marriage license for Mr. Kelly and Aaliyah listed her age as 18. Mr. Kelly, whose real name is Robert Kelly, was 27 at the time. The license was dated August 31st, 1994, the day after Mr. Kelly allegedly paid the bribe. Aaliyah was 14 when she made her first album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, which was released in 1994 and produced by Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kelly, an R&B singer whose hit singles include Ignition Remix and I Believe I Can Fly, has faced long-standing accusations. Law enforcement scrutiny intensified after several women spoke out publicly in a 6-part docuseries. Let's see. But the broad racketeering charge Mr. Kelly faces in Brooklyn, where he is accused of leading a criminal enterprise that recruited his fans, sometimes underage girls, allowed prosecutors to introduce acts from any time period that were part of the alleged conspiracy. The statute has typically been used to take down mob organizations. His associates arranged for the travel and lodging of his partners, but once they arrived, prosecutors said the women had to follow strict rules. Another nonsense that's been going on. Another lawyer for Mr. Kelly, Douglas C. Anton, has said Mr. Kelly was not involved in any criminal enterprise and called the women disgruntled groupies. The Brooklyn indictment, which was originally filed in June, also accused Mr. Kelly of kidnapping, forced labor, failing to disclose an STD, and producing pornography. Talks about him pleading guilty. A federal prosecutor in Brooklyn recently said Mr. Kelly had paid off witnesses in the Chicago case who wanted to cooperate with the authorities. His lawyer said the witnesses simply decided not to testify. So what do you guys think about this latest charge? I think, like I said a few minutes ago, I think they're reaching. And if you go back to some of my older videos where I talk about the Aaliyah case, I basically say that it is so amazing to me that after all these years since that allegation came out, that we have not heard from the person who issued the license. We have not heard from the person that performed the ceremony, who was like a deacon or leader in a church somewhere. I can't remember his name. I believe the first name was Nathan. We haven't heard from the person that produced the fake ID. Like, nobody associated with this so-called marriage has ever come forward. And even now that they have filed this indictment, it's hearsay. Is somebody coming back saying, oh, I have knowledge that this is what he did. So I just cannot believe that the federal government is operating this way in trying to take this man down. Go ahead and let me know what you guys think in the comments about this latest indictment. Rate the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I shall talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.